Important opinion that we're bringing you, but let's also get you the final update in our global market wrap this morning. European markets ended the last trading session of 2022 sharply lower. So the French CAC was down over 1.5%. The German DAX index was down around 1% at the close, and the British FTSE saw a cut of 60 points at the end of the trading session. In fact, European stocks wrapped up the worst year since 2018 as Russia's invasion of Ukraine, higher inflation, as well as hawkish policy action hammered risk assets. The pan-European stock 600 index closed the year nearly 13% lower. The French CAC index as well as the German DAX index both logged in annual losses of around 10% and 13% respectively, and the British FTSE recorded a yearly gain of just over 1%. So this has definitely not been the year for global markets, and what we have been talking about as a theme is India's outperformance and resilience in that context. So with that, let's bring you how the trade setup as we get into 2023. How is it looking? The stocks that you should have on your radar as well. We have our research team joining in with exactly that. Reema, Surbhi, as well as Nigel join me now. Guys, a very good morning to all of you and a happy new year. And Reema, coming to you first, take us through how things are looking when we get into a new year. Of course, the start looks like it might be a little soft.
Indeed, so the Lal Street looks like it's headed for a negative start this morning. The SGX Nifty is down close to about 40-odd points, but it could be another thin, sideways kind of trading session because so many markets are shut today. So in the Asian market screen, you've got the Chinese, the Hong Kong, Singapore, Taiwanese market shut. In the European region, UK shut. And then later tonight, the United States market is also shut today. That said, the handover from the global markets on Friday was negative. US stocks closed out 2022 lower, and they've capped a year of very sharp losses. The S&P 500 was down 20% for 2022, making it the worst performance since the Lehman crisis had pushed down markets in 2028. For our own markets, though, that said, there are a lot of triggers. So one, we'll be reacting to the auto sales numbers. So Maruti and Eicher Motors was weaker than expected, but Tata Motors has clocked in healthy growth in the passenger vehicles. On the macro front, the November core sector output has seen a growth of 5.4% on a year-on-year basis and up 0.9% on a month-on-month basis. This is for the period of November, but there was also a favorable base effect. One of the big global cues to track over the next couple of days will be the FOMC minutes. This is for the December Fed policy out on Wednesday, and that's the time where Jerome Powell had indicated.
Looks like there is a little bit of a problem with Reema's audio, so I'm going to give her a second to just fix that and figure that out. But like Reema was saying, the start looks like it might be a little bit soft for our own markets today. In terms of cues, it is the FOMC minutes that we will get today. That is something that we are watching out for, so that will be important. And so that is how it's really looking as far as the market cues get, look at this morning. But let's also talk about the individual stocks that you can have on your radar today. Surbhi is here with that entire list. Surbhi.
Hi, thanks for that. So as Reema mentioned, we will be watching out for auto companies as they've come out with their monthly sales numbers. The first one is Tata Motors, where their total sales were up 14% at 228,000 units, and domestic sales were up 10% at close to 73,000 units. Escorts Kubota, where the total tractor sales were up 19%. VST Tillers, where the total power tiller and tractor sales came in at 4,560 units versus 3,640 units same time last year. Maruti, where the total sales were down 9% at close to 140,000 units. Eicher Motors, where motorcycle sales were down 7% on a year-on-year basis at close to 64,400 units. Apart from these, few other names that will be in focus today are Religare, where the lenders approve one-time settlement for outstanding dues for Religare Finvest. Zydus, where the company receives final approval from US FDA for the Triazolam tablets, and Supreme Petrochem, where the company receives consent to operate from Maharashtra Pollution Control Board for PS and EPS capacity expansion at their Raigad plant. Thank you.
All right, Surbhi, thanks a lot for getting us that entire list. Looks like there's been quite a lot of stock-specific action while we were out celebrating New Year's. But finally, let me hand it over to Nigel, who's looking at all of the cues from the futures and options space. Hi, Nigel.
Well, morning, Pavitra. Everyone's been talking about the big run that we have seen in the Indian markets and the outperformance. I'm just wondering if 2023 can belong to the broader market. So let's see how that pans out. Now, focusing on market action, well, the volumes were thin on Friday, and the markets, well, they saw a bit of a slam dunk, particularly in the last hour of trade. Volumes are thin. They're likely to stay thin, though, at least for the next 2 to around 3 trading sessions on. The FI data, though, looks a little bit bearish, as they've added shorts and also they've been writing calls. Now, on the short side, they added close to around 12,000 short contracts odd. The long-short positioning is roughly around 50% apiece. And in terms of writing index options, well, they wrote closer on 240,000 calls. That's in the ratio of closer on 4:1. Tell you that at higher levels, we could see some bit of supply. On the option side, well, they're buying both calls as well as puts, so that's pretty much even-Stevens odd. What are the levels you're looking at then? On the Nifty, remember we went closer around the 100 DMA odd. In fact, we breached that mark, but that becomes the first reference point on the downside. However, on the upside, first we need to cross that 50 DMA. So for the time being, we're in that 2% band, that around a 400-point band odd. On the Nifty bank itself, well, again, we're in a 2% band. And that's between the 20 and the 50 DMA. Both those levels come up for you on the screen. The SGX Nifty is suggesting a bit of a dip. Maybe at some point of time that gets bought into, but I think we'll get a broader trend in the next 2 to around 3 trading sessions. On the Nifty, watch out for the 50 DMA, 18,261. That's the crucial resistance mark. Let's see whether or not we can get past that. Back to you, Pavitra.
All right, let's see whether we can get past that or not. Nige, thanks a lot for that. But let me go back to Rima now. Rima, we were talking about how right now the global cues are quite limited, but towards, the middle of the week, we are likely to see some important cues.
Yes, so the FOMC minutes for the December Fed policy will be known on Wednesday, jobs data on Friday, and next week, all the large 4 IT companies will be reporting numbers. It starts with TCS on 9, Infi on 12, and you also have Wipro and HCL Tech reporting numbers towards the end of the week. In terms of flows, the FIs on Friday sold 2,950 crore, while the DIs bought 2,266 crore. And one final macro cue to track today will be the rise that we've seen in crude prices, and Brent is now at $86 per barrel. Back to you.
All right, Rima, Nigel, as well as Surbhi, thank you very much.